Friends, it has been 4 years since I have waited to read this series, and I have finally read it, and I'm so excited because it is so adorable, so very cute. Hello friends, happy Friday, so very excited that you're here. If you follow me on social media, then you know that I shared about getting the final volume of this series. It has been such a wait. Not only has it been 4 years since I have wanted to start this series, but I think this 5th volume has been delayed for almost a year, or like well over half a year. And so it has been some time, and I have been eagerly anticipating reading this. And as soon as that 5th volume came in the mail this past week, or earlier this week, I mean, I knew that I was gonna read it ASAP. Though I do want to say sorry to the person who did nominate this for my shoujo event coming up this May, Lara's Read and Review Shoujo Manga Spree. I'm sorry, because I know you nominated this, and I was gonna wait, but the wait would not be waiting anymore, and that is the girl with the Sanpaku eyes. Hopefully that made sense of what I was trying to say, but yes, the girl with the Sanpaku eyes, a 5-volume series. I've had this series for so long. My husband read volume 1 before I did, and he's like, I really think you're gonna love this. And I was like, I know me though. I'm gonna want the whole thing before I start reading. And it was 100% true. Thank you, present me, for listening to past me about this, because yes, once I started this, I could not put it down. In fact, I was like, the day I'm filming this video, I was actually gonna film it a few days later. I was like, I'll take my time reading this, you know, there's no rush. And there was no rush. But once I started volume 1, there was no going back. I had to keep reading. I think I read volumes 1 through 3 in one day, and then volumes 4 and 5 in another day. Like I started volume 4 in the morning, and then I started volume 5 at lunch, and now here we are, though it'll be whenever I guess that you're watching this video. It could be morning time when I post it, but I loved it so much. This is the only series that I own that is by Dempa, and I will just say real quick before I tell you about what this series is about, it is amazing. It has these French flaps and really nice quality, I guess you would say. Oh, she's so cute. But it was really nice. And not only that, just so you know, we'll talk about it. It is fully colored. It is fully colored. But yes, if you are not familiar with this series, it is, I'm hesitant to say it's a shoujo manga. I definitely feel like it's targeted towards a female audience. But I believe this was being not translated, published on, is it Pixfy? And so those manga on that website don't necessarily have a demographic, since usually a manga gets a demographic based off the magazine that it's been published in. And so Pixabay doesn't really, from my understanding, I do apologize if I'm incorrect, that these don't typically have demographics. So I would say that this fell in the shoujo-like audience, book targeting, all of that. That's what I personally feel. Attempting to label what this series is, outside of that, it is about our main girl. Her name is Amane, and she has Sanpaku eyes, and from what I know of, like, her eyes are really, like, her actual pupils are really small, making her have wide white eyes. When I guess somebody has this look, I'm not going to say what they actually call the look, but when people have them, they have more of a mean-like face where they look very grumpy, they look very irritable, and like they just don't want you messing with them, they don't want you talking to them, they just look rather not friendly at all. But deep down, our girl is super friendly. She has a heart of gold. She is so sweet, so nice, and she has a crush on this guy here. Let me show you. Here he is. His name is Kato, and she's just head over heels for him so much, but she feels like she comes across as this really mean girl who just doesn't care, but she gets so blushy, as you can see here, really embarrassed, really anxious at times, and just, she so likes him. And so this is her love story with this guy here, of how their romance is going to unfold, of how it's going to bloom. It is the sweetest thing. So when I was thinking of like, how should I do the opening of this video, there were a few different things that I thought of what I could say. 2 of them were different quotes that I wanted to say, or that I wanted to say what I did ultimately in the beginning, was how long I've waited to read this manga. But if there's one quote, I mean, there's 2 of them, but I feel like the biggest one that would sum up this series, it is a quote from Kato in volume 3 when they're on their class trip. He's talking to his guy friend, and he's like, okay, tell me how things went down with our girl, you know, what happened, what took place. He tells him after this really long ramble, she was just insanely stupidly cute. I feel like that quote honestly could sum up this entire series. It is so cute. I felt an overwhelming burst of serotonin numerous and numerous times. In fact, when it came to volume 5, I was like, I think my heart is exploding, and I'm okay with this. In fact, when I go to reread this series in the future, because I definitely will, I'm okay with my heart re-exploding for these precious little beings because they are so precious. I loved almost every single moment. The only volume that I really, really enjoyed, but I felt like for volumes 1 through 3, I was on cloud 9. In volume 5, I was on cloud 9. Volume 4, I really liked, but I just didn't feel I was quite on cloud 9 like I was all of the other volumes. It felt like this series just got cuter and cuter as it went on, and I'm like, I don't know how this is possible right now, but here I am, just head over heels for these two, seeing their love story unfold because it was the most precious thing. And again, it was just super insanely cute, which leads me to my next quote that I feel like perfectly wraps up this series as well. And it is a quote, I believe it's in volume 4, and it's by our main girl. She says at the beginning, having your feelings reciprocated is insane. I was thinking about this as, yeah, I had to make sure I said it right. And I was thinking about this, that one thing I know, like I said before, I know this is technically a shoujo manga, but I was thinking, I really love reading romance. And I think when I was reading this, that I felt like I had this breakthrough of why I enjoy reading it so much. There is something so special when you have a character say this, and I've seen it numerous times, especially in shoujo, where a character's like, I'm so glad that my feelings reached you. I'm so glad that my feelings are being returned in the sense that they're being reciprocated, that that person feels the same way as me and our feelings are the same. There's just something so special about that. I was telling my husband that it just makes me so thankful for my relationship with him and how our feelings are reciprocated all the time. It is truly a special thing, and it's nothing short of a miracle. It just sets your heart on fire with excitement and passion and all of these wonderful things. In fact, it came to volume 5. It was one of my favorite quotes, and I feel like saying that maybe this really captures what I was trying to say too, because anyway, I won't go into that because it'll be a spoiler, but here's the quote. This is Amane. She's talking to her sister. Her sister's like, oh, look, now you could talk to your boyfriend without feeling anxious or anything. And Amane's like, no, I still feel anxious at times when I'm talking to him and get worked up and start thinking like, well, wonder if we break up in the future, or wonder if he doesn't like me anymore. And I start thinking all of these things, but she's like, you know something though? She's like, walking together, chatting, holding hands, all of those things you take for granted, even though you really shouldn't. If you treasure all those important things, and there are so very many of them, you'll end up with such a pile of them that you'll be able to think, maybe we'll be together in the future too. That is such a powerful and special thing, that all those small moments, people would say, well, they're not that big of a deal. You're just holding hands or you're just hugging. No, like Amane's saying, they all build up over time. They pile up and they just remind you that these moments are something to be treasured. There's something to remember and to think about often. And it really is like I wouldn't say a guiding path forward, but that it shows, like she said, maybe we'll be in the future too, that all of those moments mean something, that they're special and just something to be treasured. Sorry, I think I repeated myself like 3 times. My bad. But I thought that was a really impactful way to wrap up this series when most of these volumes are just seeing Amane make the cutest faces of her being in love. And it could seem like there's really not much more to this than just this super cute, precious girl with her friends that absolutely love and adore her, and her realizing how much, not her just realizing, but both of these characters realizing how much they love the other. This is one of her expressions. In fact, I'm a little jelly. Marg at Marg Reads Manga has this expression on a tote bag that she bought at some point. I will leave a picture here because I love the photo that she took just in honor of this series wrapping up. It is so cute. And I will say, because, not because, but I just read this series really fast. I think the other night, I fixed my dryer, really wanted to buy something, but I was like, you know what? No, we're not going to buy anything. I actually went and read this volume, and it was the perfect treat of fixing my dryer. I was so excited. This is the volume that I was just squealing and giggling and smiling. I felt that way, in fact, every single volume, but it just felt very much this way with things that were taking place. I was like, oh my gosh, they're so cute. They're so adorable. I don't know where I was going with that because I just got all up in my feelings. But it could seem like, oh, that's what I was saying. It could seem like there's not much to this series, that it's just this cute girl making funny faces like I showed and just her love story. But it has some surprising heart the more that you read. Really appreciate that. I mean, I didn't feel like this story was shallow. I am always up for a very overly sweet and wholesome kind of story where there's just plenty of fluff and cute shenanigans. I will never tire of that. Like, that's one of my favorite things to read. And I really just love being surprised where I'm like, I am here for this cute romance, seeing these two precious little beings make faces like this. And then there just be this beautiful heart and depth to the end of the story that just reminds you that all of the moments building up to this are very wonderful and never to forget them. Store them in your heart and think of them often. I love moments like that, and this series just had that in spades, and there are a lot, and I mean an overwhelming amount of moments of them to blushing. If you don't like seeing characters blush every single volume, every page to every few pages, I will confess this series will not be for you. You have to be ready to see all of the blushy moments because there's so many of them. It's very, very cute and very precious. And you have to, like I said, be ready for that. You have to be prepared for that. Also, I love this moment because in the story, they're right here. So these are Amine's best friends. And oh my gosh, the girl friendships in the series would have been perfect for the Gal Pals girl friendships Top 5 Wednesday video I filmed because they are literally Amine's biggest fans. They love her and care for her so much. I know that our guy, that he really loves Amine. Not knocking that, but I'm like, I really don't know if you can compete with these girls. They love her so much, and I just love seeing them support our main girl so much. How they encouraged her, they pushed her forward, and they're like, what do you need help with? We're here to help you in any single way that you need. If you need somebody to lift you up, we are your people. We are your girls to do this. She also needed advice. They were quick to listen, quick to give advice, or if she needed to look cuter, because oh my goodness, I love the class school trip. It was my favorite part. And I think it's because we see our main girl in so many different hairstyles, and it was really fun to see how would she level up when it came to her cuteness, because Mio, which is the girl in pink, she's like, we're gonna just knock him dead where he cannot handle how cute you look. They did that often, to be honest, but I felt like it just shined. The girl friendship shined on this class trip. I mean, before that, after that, for sure, but it was so beautiful. And I'm like, girl friendships like theirs are just gold. I loved it. It was definitely one of my favorite parts alongside of the romance, but I bring them up, and I bring up this guy because I love how Kato had somebody he could turn to and just ramble and gush just like Amine did to her girlfriends. I'm glad that he had a friend he could do the same. We don't see him often, but it was such a wonderful and precious story. I forgot to say too, I love the play that happens in this one. Like, I really enjoyed volume 1. I loved it. Gave it 5 stars. I thought it was great. It hooked me. But volume 2, I was like, I'm invested emotionally. I am invested. Can't stop reading. I was so happy. This volume solidified that I want to keep going. I need more of a serotonin boost because it was just so much fun. This volume especially was fun with the play, how hard everybody is trying. And it was really nice too, talking about her friends again, how they knew that Amine liked this guy and they encouraged her to go for him. Yes, they definitely had times of jealousy because they're like, if we were dudes right now, we would totally go kick his butt and have you for ourselves. And I thought that was really funny. But just, they could have treated Amine differently. They could have had some more upsetful situations where their jealousy took over and they just wouldn't be kind. But that never was an issue because they really wanted Amine to go for it. And when that romance is forming and they have finally, Amine and Kato have become a boyfriend-girlfriend, they cheered, like her best friends cheered for both of them. And they thought it was just the cutest thing to see them together. And I was like, we need more of that kind of friendship in manga because it is so precious and I love seeing it every single time. I will never get tired of that. So one thing I want to mention, I know it's very prevalent in volume 4. When I say everybody is cheering for Amane in this manga, everybody literally is cheering for Amane in this manga. I love how there's times when there's, you know, objects that are not people, like for example, like a flower, or in this case, a bird, that they are cheering for Amane to go for it, to do her best. And for Kano too. There were pigeons. I think they're, no, they were not pigeons. They were sparrows, excuse me. There were sparrows in this volume. I loved them. The commentary that they had was hilarious. I mean, everybody's like, why are those little sparrows just chirping away? Here is a great example. I'll read what it says, but here they are, and they're just watching everything unfold. And this is a moment where Amane, for all the anxiety that she has and the nervousness that she has, I mean, she does cry a lot because she gets really nervous and embarrassed and she's scared that she messed up. I was shocked how this girl is not afraid to ask things. Like in this one, she's asking, aren't we gonna hold hands? And I admired her bravery because she was just so nervous, and in the beginning, like she couldn't even make eye contact with him because she just felt like he was shining and had this special halo around him. And so she couldn't even talk to him at first. She had to work up her courage. And so when they start dating and she's like, aren't we gonna hold hands? I'm like, girl, you go, girl. It was some really great character development. But talking about these pigeons, they're like, oh, will it? I think it will. Is she gonna say it? And then like, that's when she says, aren't we going to hold hands? These little sparrows get so invested throughout the entire different parts in the manga. Like even at the end of this chapter, then one of them's like, how about looking at him when you talk? Because she wasn't able, to look at him when this moment came. So it was really nice. The art is simply beautiful. Trying to find a really fun part that just shows, I guess, how colorful this manga is. I guess this is a really great example. This is when all the girls, this is when they're on the class trip, and these are her two best friends, and these were two twins that just came and visited their room. It was really a delightful experience when it comes to just looking, like when it comes to just the eyes, like the art really pops up, and so many times it's very vivid. And I love how at times too, like the text will turn colors. Like when Amane is talking, sometimes the font will be pink or red. Let me find, oh my goodness, this is a horrible picture of him, but this is one of the teachers. I loved him. He is so funny. Hold on, let me show you a picture. Hopefully I don't forget what I was saying, because I went back and reread a part with him just because I just thought he was so funny. Because one of the girls, she's like, I'm in love with my teacher. She doesn't do anything, but he looks like this, and he's really strict. He can be really grumpy. Like at one point when something happens, he actually tells the guys, he's like, you're gonna give me 10,000 push-ups. And they're like, we don't think that's even possible. So he's really strict, but I love seeing him on page. I just thought he was really funny, and he was very funny when it came to this moment right here, because everybody's supposed to be in their room. They're not supposed to be out and about, but you know, here we are. So I'm trying to find again the pink, and here we go, right here. So many times when Amane's talking, it will have pink text, and I thought that was really, really cool. And also at times too, it will have green text, like her best friends had green text, and sometimes like when Amane is shouting, she will have red text instead of pink to really, I think, capture her feelings and emotion, because when she's yelling, it's always red, it's never black. Also, here's some more of the pink right here that I was talking about earlier, and Mio makes the funniest expressions as well. She really stands our main girl a lot. She stands her. Oh, here we go. I found the green. Yeah, right here. When they're greeting each other, sometimes his text will be green, and I just thought it a really fun and engaging way for the reading process, I guess, or just when you're reading, of seeing that different color. That's just another way to engage with this story, because it's very, very bright, very colorful. Like, this is one of my favorite pages as well. One of my favorite moments in volume 5. And so it just felt like a delight to not only read the story itself, but to read the pages, to see the pages. It was a feast for the eyes. And I'm like, wow, I've read colored manga. I love it. Like Play Cool Guys, one of my favorite colored manga that I own. And that one's a real, like, exciting joy to read as well. But this one just, it had me engaged differently than I expected. I was not prepared for at all. I do want to show when I talked about the cute little sparrows and how they were cheering on Amane even though nobody else knew. There is a moment with some sharks, a very, very brief scene, and it's not a spoiler, but it was so cute, and I went back. I've read it like 2 or 3 times. Here they are right here. This is a big giant shark plushie. You know, Amane's got a little small one, and this little guy right here, oh, I gotta go this way. The big shark's like, yo, been a while. And the little shark's like, yeah, since we're on different shelves. I'm like, they're talking to each other. It's so cute. I was like, I have never read that in manga where, like I said, you're just having things talk. Would not talk otherwise. You know, we're just getting from the character's point of view, but we're getting it from like birds and plushies. And there's even one, I think it's here. Oh, I can't show it because it'd be a spoiler. But there's even one where a flower is talking as well. And I'm like, dude, this is just the coolest thing. So did I love this series? Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, I did. I loved it so much. And if you need an insanely cute and precious story where, love story I should say, that's fully colored manga and is a feast delight on the eyes when reading the actual story itself, when looking at the illustrations, this manga is for you. 5 volumes, not a huge investment. Enjoyed it so much and cannot wait to come back to this series. So I hope that you guys will check it out. I would love to hear from you though. What are some romantic comedies that you enjoy reading that you would love to see me read or would just like to give a recommendation? Totally let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this manga review, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!